So once you got past the sort of hiding that you were creative stage, how often did you begin writing?
Again, you're asking me these great questions no one's asked before. I wouldn't say I was a prolific writer. I'm not someone who finds the writing process easy, and I don't write every day. I find that there's the saying that I once heard that something like, sort of real writers find it hard to write. It's like a difficult, it's like a struggle. I think for not real writers, but I think to get stuff out there that matters to me, it can be a bit of a struggle, even just sitting down on the chair. I mean, there's this other great quote of, writing is the fine art of applying the seat of your pants to the seat of a chair.
You said that, that's a good one.
Yeah, and what I like about that is, for me, writing is like, I have to arrange my life to find the time to write. So when I wrote my book, I had to literally put in my diary 9 to 12, I'm writing every day, and that's it, no matter what happens. People phone me and they'd say, can you teach this course if it's 9 to 12, I can't do it. So blocking out the time in my life to write is an art form. So that's why I think writing is the fine art of applying the seat of your pants to the chair. Seat of a chair is like, how do you kind of manage your life in that way? And I know a lot of writers that I know have found ways to chisel out time. So I guess my writing, my writing for myself, as in writing on spec, if we've got a deadline, that's great. So I think the university, when I studied it in the UK, the writing I did there was all sort of deadline based, so I wrote a whole lot of short scripts and then longer scripts and then feature films, or a feature film while I was there. And that was deadline based writing. So that was quite easy for me to do. And then while I was doing that, I wrote a children's book, and these ideas come to me. And like I say, they're like these little chicks that I can't ignore. And, they come nibbling at my feet and I'm like, write me. And then eventually, if I give them enough time and focus, then I will write them. But it's been a long, difficult process in terms of writing what I want to write. And I'm still learning actually to write, the stuff that's inside me that wants to come out. Because for example, the sitcoms that I wrote, those were deadline based as well. And that was just like, I think I wrote 25 sitcoms or something in South Africa, sitcom episodes. And they were just like, that was deadline, that was in television, it was like fast turnaround time. And I was writing with a writing partner. I really like writing with partners. I like sort of collaborating a lot. And that was good because that had deadlines. So I think writing then was just kind of, because it was deadline writing, I kind of had to do it, and then I did it. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah. And then occasionally other stories come to me, like I wrote a feature film about growing up in suburbia, and about escaping suburbia with a very loosely veiled character called Michael, not Matthew, who's not me at all. And it's basically about how he tries to escape out of suburbia, and the more he tries, the more he gets sucked into the sort of dark underbelly of suburbia. But it's suburbia in the tip of Africa in Cape Town. So but it's just like suburbia anyway, really. So that story came to me, and then I kind of have to write it, and then I have to go on like some sort of a retreat. And I went away and found a quiet place, and then just wrote that. I find getting the first draft out that's what takes the time. Yeah.
Well, excuse me, what is the underbelly of suburbia? I'd love to hear about it.
Oh, okay. So in this story, the underbelly of suburbia is based on kind of my life in Tableview, where I grew up, which is a small suburban town area in Cape Town. It's a biker gang. So a sort of like a biker gang that deals with drugs and organizes swingers parties, and like but it's all very kind of lowbrow. It's funny, really. The guy who's the biker gang leader is, he's just a kind of a big, cuddly bear of a man. But he doesn't want anyone to get out of his grasp, and he has a bit of a history with this guy's father, and so he owes the guy money eventually, sort of gambling debt, I guess, and then he just gets more and more sucked in, and he just can't get away. And his dad is an ATM repairman, which existed in those days, and he has access to all the ATMs, and this guy wants access. And so the more Michael tries to get away, the more this guy tries to manipulate him until he tries to get him to betray his dad and give him access to all that. So it's kind of like money and dodgy dealings in the underbelly of suburbia, including swingers parties and strange stuff that Michael gets distracted on. Yeah.
Do you think one of the things with suburbia is the need to conform? And anybody who violates that like norm is then suspect, even though everybody kind of wants to already violate that, but they're too afraid?
Absolutely. I think so. So my experience of suburbia was when I was really young, we moved to an area that was quite pristine, almost like a wilderness area. And it was beautiful, and we didn't even have tarred roads. There were very few houses around, so there was lots of empty lots with, just, I don't know, shrubs and bush growing in it. But then Table View, which is the small area, became the fastest growing suburb in the Southern Hemisphere and just expanded. So things really happened really quickly around me. Tarred roads, pavements, malls, which were never there before. And so literally I felt suburbia grow up around me when I was younger. And it was really like, I definitely have an aversion to suburbia because I was in this pristine, beautiful wilderness. The next thing I know, I'm in a concrete jungle. And it's like, there was a sort of formative time of my life. And so I think suburbia does try and fit you into a certain thing. This suburb is still growing. And what they do is they just kind of clear out some land, they build roads, and then they put up a mall before the houses come. It's bizarre. They put up like a mall and they put up like a gas station, and then the houses come. And it's like, they're really trying to get you to fit in a certain way. It's just the way I think it's easier to manage as a space. And I guess if you don't fit in there, I certainly riled against suburbia. I am in a big way. Suburbia does try and make you conform, I think.
It does, and I think there's a quote from a song, conform or be cast out. And so sometimes it's fun to be the outcast, though.
Yeah. I think that may be me.
We're good.
Yeah.
We have something in common. Do you think with meditation, because you mentioned earlier that you like to have a certain, your life organized around you and you have these very organized times, that meditation also helps organize the thoughts?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, it does. I'm actually, it definitely does organize the thoughts, I think. And I don't know where to take that further.
Yeah, that's fine. No, we could just leave it at that. We don't. Yeah. I just thought that was interesting because you mentioned how you like this organization, and if there's maybe too much chaos, then it's not.
I think a lot of the chaos is in my own mind, if you know what I mean. So It's interesting. There can be a lot of demands of our time in terms of work, other people, but also of my mind. I could wake up in the morning and have an open day where I could write, but my mind is just, I'm having the internal battle, with myself and my thoughts and my, questions. Are you worthy enough? Are you good enough? Is this story good enough? All these kind of things of, are you enough? And meditation for me helps me to just calm the moment down, slow the mind down, and just be. And then creating from that space is a very interesting and liberating space because I'm not feeling judged by myself or by anyone.
Right, and sometimes there's just like these little things that I remember one time someone said to me, "Why are you giving that free rent in your head?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, she's
That's
right.
Nice.
Yeah, I am. Okay,
That's
let me
nice.
stop."
That's a really nice way of putting it.